absolute highest potential, living their life to the most incredible joy they can. So that's why we're here. So Lisa, you want to share what we're going to do?
Well, we are going to, sorry, I was still pressing buttons behind the scenes here. So are we talking about what we're doing today or what we're doing next week?
What we're unleashing.
What we are unleashing. I am so excited. We are going to have the Prepare Your Alignment for 2020 webinar. And that is going to be, instead of our live next week on Monday, we're going to do a live webinar that you have to sign up for. And I've already put a link in the group, but I'll be putting more links in on this. But it's all about, I'm just going to read kind of our little blurb here, because you're going to join the Real Onez as we take you on the adventure of a lifetime. And we're going to assist you on setting the vibrational alignment for 2020. That's the thing. Everyone thinks that, the new year is just like, oh, set my resolution and start from there. No, we need to start now and start pre-paving what you want your 2020 to look like. And so that's what we're going to do on this webinar. And we are so excited. What else do you want to say about that, Goldyn?
Totally excited about it. Part of what our understanding with the energetic alignment is that it takes a little while for the physical to catch up to the energetic. So we want to get ahead of it. We want to be ahead of it so that when you wake up on January 1st, you already have the momentum set to create your desires. 2020 feels like a massive year to me. I don't know why. I don't usually feel that way. So I just think that right now, the energy is ramping up and we are being supported more than ever in this universal law and understanding it and creating from it. So we want to help you guys, and we're going to offer this free webinar. We're going to have you sign up. Don't worry about us having your emails. We are not going to spam you. I absolutely despise emails that I get every day that are super annoying. So that's not our intention of getting your emails. We really just want to set forth a way of communicating with the community and being able to offer you guys something that is above and beyond the show.
And one of the most exciting things that we're going to be doing is the Quantum Leap Seat. And so this is going to be coaching that Goldyn and I do. So when you sign up, there's going to be a comment section where you fill in, if you're interested in being coached live, that you're going to fill in what you're wanting to manifest in 2020, what you're wanting to pre-pave, what you're wanting to, have happen. And oh my gosh, I'm filled with chills as I'm talking about this.
So exciting.
And so fill that out. Again, we can't get to everybody. So it's just we're going to let it unfold and see how all this, the leap seat goes down during this live training. But if you're interested, be sure to put that in, because we will have that information and be able to choose people on the webinar. So start thinking about what you want in 2020. And part of even writing this down is part of the pre-paving. So that's what's really exciting.
Yes, writing is the strongest form of focus. So we're going to get you guys to a place where we've got, definite things that you can do every single day that are going to align you with what your desires are. And we're going to help you to gain the confidence in stepping into these things. I think a lot of times we feel like we're kind of in a boat by ourselves and we don't really understand about these leaps in faith and how we can actually leap together and create a community of support where you feel supported in your dreams and you don't feel alone, and you get the ideas and the perspectives and the intuitions to actually follow through with things instead of feeling like you've been stuck, because we are just not about stuck energy whatsoever. We're about moving forward like we're on a train.
Absolutely. And so I think that's part of it, is that people, again, they get stuck in their blind spots. And what's so exciting and so fun is that both Goldyn and I, and that's why we are like such best friends and we work so well together, is that we can call each other and just be like, oh my God, I'm having the worst day ever. And, blah, blah. And immediately we can see what's happening. And we just call each other out and say, no, shift that, do this, do that, da, 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 da. And boom, we're just, back into our highest version of ourselves, and we can carry forward. So that's what we want to do for you. And can you imagine two of us coming to you, on both sides? You're not going to be able to have any blind spots when that happens.
Definitely not. And you don't have to be on the video if you don't want to. We can just do it through audio. Is this sun too much? I feel like
no, it's fine. It looks like you're getting the angelic flow there.
Okay.
Awesome. So if anyone has any questions, be sure to pop them in the chat or in the comments below. We'll get to it. Just so you know, we don't really have time always to look at the comments as we're going, because we're in a flow here. So please don't if we don't comment right away, just know that we're in process. the
Yeah,
moment.
we'll get you later. Awesome.
Exactly. So the other exciting thing that we're doing today is that we have a guest on. And do you want me to introduce her?
Yes. Do you have, yeah, you can do it. I'm going to.
Okay. Well, do you have it? I have it as well.
I don't.
Okay.
I'll just be
All
honest.
right. Cate Coffelt is an award-winning, rigorously blind-tested and certified evidential medium and psychic. How cool is that? She was scientifically tested and certified through Mark Ireland's Medium Certification Program and is also the recipient of a 2018 Social Activism Award. Cate is known to bring through detailed validations and messages that have meaning, demonstrating that love never dies. She is even known to bring through pets who have crossed over on the Rainbow Bridge.
Wow.
Cate is a proud provider for Helping Parents Heal, who I have interviewed their leaders on my Exploring Death podcast, which is an amazing organization. And she's been a featured member of Shay Parker's Best American Psychics, Certified Psychic Society, and Bob Olson's Best Psychic Directory.
Nice.
And she, in her spare time, I thought this was really cool. She donates her services to the Find Me group. This group is made up of professionals and individuals with a variety of disciplines who assist families and law enforcement with missing persons and cold cases.
That is
so. That is so cool. Let me bring her in because she's been patiently waiting. And
chatting away.
there we are. Hello, Cate.
Hi.
Welcome.
Are you watching us live there?
Well, I was like, okay, it's a little bit after. So let me see if there's a technical issue.
That's right. Well,
So,
we were just announcing our upcoming webinar, so we just thought we would get that housekeeping detail out of the way before we introduce you. But my goodness,
welcome.
I love
you.
that you've done all that training and all that, you know, you're doing all that amazing work.
oh, thank you. I don't know what you talked about, but
Oh.
I will accept that. I will receive that. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been I think you're talking about some of my background, but
Yes.
I did get recently certified through Mark Ireland's program. So that was very rigorous. That was, that talk about visualizing and manifesting. I wanted to, just to be a part of this program. Mark Ireland is a co-founder of Helping Parents Heal. And
okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to be certified through them, so parents could feel comfortable that I am a legitimate medium. But boy, the testing process was grueling. I had to do 5 blind readings. All I was given was a Zoom link. I didn't know them; they didn't know me. I just started reading, and each reading was scientifically scored. So Mark Ireland has that detailed on the website.
Yeah.
But I would visualize myself on the website making
that's wonderful.
that certification.
Well, before we move on, I just wanted to give a plug to Helping
Sorry.
Parents Heal. No, that's fine. I've interviewed the founders of Helping Parents Heal. I've actually I've gone to Helping Parents Heal in South Carolina and spoke to those parents. And then we are starting a chapter here on Maui. And in fact, tomorrow night is actually our second meeting. But yeah.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
So I just want to tell anyone who's either lost a child, or if you know somebody who's lost a child, Helping Parents Heal is an amazing organization that helps you connect with your kids and help you, figure out ways that they're still alive. So that's wonderful.
No, it's a wonderful organization, and I'm just so proud to be a part of that. So I was, it was an interesting process, but it was grueling. But I'm very proud to be a part of that and manifest that. So
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're really here to have you talk about this thing about manifesting and how you came from kind of a, you had our backgrounds as we all do, and and how now you are doing all these amazing things.
Yeah. So
Goldyn, did you want to say anything before we jump in?
Yeah. Hi, Goldyn.
No, actually, Cate lives right down the street from me, and we've been friends on Facebook for a little while, and I wanted to go to one of her events and I didn't make it. So she kind of popped up there and said she wanted to be a guest. And that's kind of the way we're rolling with Real Onez. Like, if people are popping up and they're coming to us and they answer our application questions right, then you're in, pretty much.
I love it. Yeah, I think I got introduced to, or I was interested in, being on your show because, yeah, I think you guys had a post of what, you were grateful for, or what did you manifest? I don't know. There was some post and I'm like, yeah, I'm like excited. I manifested an ocean view and my own business. Oh my God. So, how did I get there? And it's been kind of a journey. So in that same post, and this is really the reason why I wanted to be on the show, was I did notice some people struggling with this very issue of how do I manifest the life I want, and there's so many facets to it, right? And I mean, it's from thoughts to judgment to feeling to intention, right? All sorts of facets to create this. But to start, I think everybody should know a little bit about my background so they can understand that I understand what the struggle is. And I do understand the struggle is very real. So I would view myself in the past as a negative person. I had constant negative thoughts. I battled them every day. And it's because of how I grew up. I did grow up in a very traumatic home. My first memory of my mother is kicking her, she kicked me in the face. That's one of my first memories.
Wow.
My abuse started in the crib. Subsequently, I experienced every abuse that you can imagine, and I'm not lying. So, I've had things to overcome. And I married into an abusive marriage, and I didn't stay in it long. I loved myself enough at that point, and I didn't recognize this. And this, I think, is the key to manifesting what you want. You got to love yourself, right? And when you grow up in a home, and this is always going to be emotional, but when you grow up in a home where there is no love, you don't know how to love yourself. So you really have to realize from within that you loved yourself enough to survive whatever you endured.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the key, right? So every time somebody, and I hope somebody that's struggling with this, that's struggling to really want to grasp moments of joy in their life. Maybe they don't know what that feels like, but everybody does have like that one moment of joy. Even in a traumatic childhood, there's moments of joy, moments of laughter, moments that you create in your life, right? So, and one of the things about manifestation, what is it? Is you're grabbing onto feeling and marrying it with that vision, right? And some people go like, wow, I don't know what that feels like to feel good. I didn't either for a long time, but if I sat back and realized, wow, I love myself enough to survive, that's a start. Mm-hmm. That's a start, right? And then that opened the door to memories of, oh yeah, like, I come from a very corporate background, believe it or not. I've worked for major organizations, and one of them was Nestle. And I actually was on the choir, and I sang in at Dodger Stadium, the national anthem, with 5 other choir members. And I was the one to hit that high note at the end, right? And there's 40,000 people standing in this audience, right? Now, that's a moment, right? I take that moment of that feeling, and I take that feeling and I'll use it to visualize something I want, because that's a moment in my life that was memorable. It was cherishable. It was fantastic. It was fun. I could think of so many adjectives for that wonderful moment. And I take that moment. It was only a moment, but I take that moment and I marry that with whatever vision I want to create for myself. And that's how people can start. They just take that moment. It's just a feeling. Everybody has that moment, a moment where they felt good in their life.
So Cate, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So when you were doing all of that and you were deciding that you were worth something because you survived, was there like a moment of clarity where you were going within and meditating and really working like on your inside, because I think I think it's easy for us in this life to just kind of take what people have told us about ourselves and just kind of run with it. And for myself, it wasn't until I started going within and started really questioning those untruths that I started to find that worthiness underneath that made me like the manifestation expert that I am today. So
Yeah.
there's those moments where you started to like meditate and get quiet and really get control of your mind.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, meditation is absolutely key. You have to be in that place, you know, and some people can't. It took me forever because I've got monkey mind, you know, trauma brain, you know, I've got 10 million thoughts floating everywhere, you know, and that's one reason why I moved to the beach, because I will, after readings, I will literally take my 3-mile walk down to the beach and I decompress. I breathe in the fresh salt air. You know, I look around and I start with gratitude. I'm like, thank you for a wonderful day of healing. You know, regardless of the clients I may have had, regardless of the sad stories I hear, regardless of the energy, right? Thank you for a wonderful day of, you know, and that's the other thing. It's like gratitude is so important, right? And I am like one of the first people, and I'm the first one to admit it, to go into that negative place. I'm conditioned to. I'm going to admit it, probably the most negative person on the planet. I really am. I mean, and people that know me will probably go, yeah, she can go there. And I've had to fight this, you guys. I've had to fight this, and I still do.
It's a retraining. You're retraining the way you've been taught, the way you've grown up. And
yes,
what I love about your story is that you were always reaching back for the gifts. You were always looking for those moments, because it's easy for us to cast over our childhood. I had a traumatic one too, and say it was all awful. But it's not until we start looking for the gifts that we change the trauma and we heal from it. So I love that you did that.
Well, and the other thing I think people also, might want to recognize is to not run from their trauma, not run. And I think this is where I have a personal issue with some of the spiritual community, because I want to use the word spiritual bypassing. A lot of folks that go into the spiritual have had traumatic backgrounds, and the spiritual side feels really good. You know, I mean, in my meditation, I've had moments where the angels have shown me where they protected me in certain areas, you know, and like I felt that, you know, and it was enough to like, I don't have anybody in this planet as a child, right? That's my thought, but the angels were with me, and they've showed that to me through meditation, right? But it's funny because people forget this. They forget that we have feelings and we have to process them, the good and the bad, right?
Yep. Even
with the trauma, right? And that we have help. In my case, it's the angel beings, you know, the angels, you know, I've got a huge spiritual team, huge, and they're always with me, you know, and they help me and they show me different things when I go in. But, you know, I'm even learning more and more to go in more silently, you know, and if for somebody, it really is hard for you to sit still and, don't do that. Go for a walk. Focus on your feet hitting the ground. That comes up in a lot of readings. And I think that's amazing. I started to do that, right? I'm like, oh, I like that idea. And you know what?
It's getting yourself present and back in your body, which is what meditation does. It gets you in your body and out of your mind.
Exactly. And it's just like, just to feel the feet. It's like, wow, that instantly grounds you, instantly. And start with that, start with, some people have a problem visualizing their dreams. We go back to intention, right? And I think I was telling you guys about this story. I don't know if this is the right time to tell you, but, but like one of the things, so one of the things, two of the things that I really, really am grateful for is having my own business. This is something I've always wanted, right? So, and we'll go back into that in a minute, but and then also, no, we're going to go into the business for a minute. So, coming from that corporate background, right, I would almost resent people on a Tuesday afternoon drinking coffee in their sweats. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be chained to a desk. But as a single mom, I, kept crawling that ladder, you know, and I
You
played.
feel like you don't have a choice. You feel like you don't have any freedom to do what you want. Why does everybody else get to have this freedom and I don't?
Right.
A lot of people feel that way.
Right. You've got bills to pay. You've got, you know, health insurance. And believe me, when, I mean, so, and I have to tell you, like when I lost my corporate jobs 5.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I had people tell me, you should start a business. This is something I've always wanted. Always. You know, I'm looking at people in sweats, drinking coffee, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to work from home. You know, I kept saying that all these years, right? But the thing is, I had a little resentment, right? Because there was envy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Blocks the flow of blessings, envy. That's what I always say about envy.
It does, and I didn't even realize that. And so, like, one of the things I learned is, especially having my own business, because oh my God, it's not easy. You know, you got to pay for everything, you know, and you got to do everything. It's all you. But I would never trade it for the world. But one of the things that I would automatically run into because of my background is, oh my God, how am I going to make enough money? Especially in the beginning, right? And I'm looking for work while I'm building my business. For 2 years, I looked for another corporate job, right? But you know, my soul knew I needed this. My soul knew I had my gifts are helping people connect with their loved ones on the other side.
And in those 2 years, you were making your bills, like you were getting by?
Oh my God. Okay, so get this. And it comes in different forms. This is what I want people to understand. It comes in different forms. Like, I'm not kidding. I landed a job in a crystal shop, and I had a client come in because she loved her reading so much. She came in and gave me this big basket full of wonderfully scented soaps that I was not allergic to, that I didn't get a migraine with. That lasted for a year. Okay, soap is not cheap, especially if you're allergic to the store brands and you're going organic. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing, right? That's a different form, right? Of abundance, right?
Evidence of your support.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I was going to say I didn't even recognize it then, right? But when I look back, I was like, oh my God, right? Just like me wanting that business, I was really manifesting that. I thought I was devastated when I lost my job. I was with this organization for 7 years, this healthcare organization. I was going to retire with them. They had a pension plan, they had health insurance. I hated the job. Hated it. It literally.
Well, that's the thing. You woke up every day thinking, I don't really want to have this job, and so the job was taken away from you. Right?
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And I, you know, and I started my business, you know, and it hasn't been easy, like I said. But you know what? As soon as I let go of judgment of others, like, you know, across the street's $1 million neighborhood. You know, some people are like, oh, those hoity-toity people. I hear them in the parking lot. And I'm like, no, but look at all the people they're employing. Look at the maid that they're employing that helps keep the roof over her head. You know, I'm getting nails done again because you know what? That manicurist, this is what she likes to do. And guess what? I'm helping her pay her bills. You know, it's like shifting your attitude. And I'm just getting this, you know, it's like, oh my God, I'm just waking up to this. It's like, where have I been for 50 years? Right.
So powerful. When people talk about how expensive everything is, or like you said, you know, rich people and their hoity-toity and all that. No, like think about every dollar you're spending. Like, you know, like you said, when you go to a manicurist, that money that you're paying her is putting food on her table.
Exactly.
And same with the rich people. Like if they're spending more money on their house, well, then guess what? More money is going into whoever pocket that works for them to put money or put food on their table.
Yeah.
Instead, you know, people are just so like locked in on their, you know, their judgment and their envy and, you know, disdain. Well, guess what? If you want money, this is the funny thing. Like people that want more money are always judging people with money. I'm like, you're judging what you want. Like, what is wrong?
That was me.
That was all of us. You know? Growing up, like that's what we're taught. It's like my dad used to say, like, "Oh, money talks, people walk." You know, like the things that we grew up with, and the idea that. Well, like, one really interesting thing is the Titanic. If you ever watched the Titanic,
I just saw it the other night.
okay, so the wealthy people that were up above were like snooty and they weren't having a good time, and all the poor people were
The
underneath,
steerage.
right?
Yeah, the
So
steerage.
that's what's programming in our subconscious.
Right.
We're looking at wealthy people saying they don't have any fun. Why would I want to be them? Right?
Yeah, right. Oh, see, that's a different angle to look at it too. And you know, but then I look at it from a different angle also. If you look at like the folks in the steerage having judgment with the wealthy people, like, you know, boy, they must have just, you know, they take their money for granted or whatever. They must, you know, they haven't had hardship like I have. So it goes around. There's different perspectives of it. And it's like, let's just knock off the judgment, because the universe is abundant. The universe is willing to provide. Yeah, there's plenty for us to, you know, it's even to the vet. Okay, so I have a special needs dog. I have literally spent, she's 2.5. Since she was 6 months old, I have spent probably over $7,000 in medical bills just to address her allergies. Now, I used to say, I can't afford that. I mean, just as that recent, this is how recent this, but oh my God, I've had to shift the thinking about that. I'm like, no, I'm helping pay that vet his bills and helping to try and get some answers and relief from my puppy, you know, and I'm helping her in the process. I'm helping a little soul I'm trying to figure out her lesson. She's just like me. She's allergic to the planet, but you know, so I know there's a reason she's with me, but it's, you know, it's like, instead of having that judgment, so I had to catch myself in that. Right. So I'm always trying to catch myself, right?
Well,
always trying to catch myself.
Earlier about, I had a high-end coach. I paid a ton of money. And so we had to put like what our goal was for the month, you know, so mine, I was like, okay, I want to make $30,000 this month. Well, guess what? 30,000 came to me. It didn't come through my business, but it came through, I don't know. My son got a tuition break, you know, of X amount. And I got, I forget, some unexpected money came from a friend or a relative or something. I forget, but it totaled up of $30,000, but it didn't come through my business. And it was exactly the amount, $30,000. And so I told my coach this, I'm like, well, I didn't get it through the business, but I got $30,000. He's like, well, that doesn't count. And so again, even, he's not right. He's not seeing the bigger picture. Right. And that's what, so even these high-end business coaches, it's like, well, it only counts if it comes one direct, you know, one way.
Well, that's the programming. That's the programming that we've been, you know, that we've been brought up with, and recognizing that abundance is not just money. It's getting what you need when you need to have it, and it's being supported by the universe in different ways. We don't even know how, right, Kate? Like, you didn't even know that this soap was going to come and you weren't going to have to buy soap. Like, you just can't even.
Yeah. Had no idea. And then
the more open you are to it, the more open you are to receiving in any way, the more it comes to you. But if you're locked into, like my business coach, no, it has to come through the business. Well, then, you know, you're probably going to fail, because I'm like, oh my God, well, I did it wrong. And I'm like, no, the universe is like, no, you did it right. You just don't need to have it come in that way.
How you do it, Lisa.
That's how I do it. I always get just these giant, big drops of money fall in my lap. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was around. That's cool.
But see, that goes back to intention, right? You know, and really knowing what you need or want, and not expecting I don't know how to say this right. It's like you have to let go of how you receive what you want. You know, it's kind of like,
and then open to universe to deliver.
Exactly. Like like that ocean thing. Oh, okay. So we're going to go back to my vision board. Okay. That's right. Okay. So this is the second half. So the other thing I really, really wanted to manifest was, I've always wanted to live at the beach. Now, when I was 18, I did for a while, you know, but I moved back to LA and I got very depressed, but that's where the work was. Right. So, but I'd always wanted to move back to the beach. And I don't know, a couple of years ago at Thanksgiving, my sister was like, let's build vision boards, you know? And I'm like, okay, you know, and I didn't really believe in them. This is 2 years ago, guys, or 3 years ago. And so I created a vision board, and there's an ocean view on there. You see a pair of feet and an ocean view, you know, looking out that view, that perspective, right? And you know, and I put other aspects in, bigger, you know, living room, bigger kitchen, blah, 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 right? Just, you know, basics, just, you know, nothing too big, you know, but substantial, right? And then for 9 months, I kept looking for this place. And I'm like, I can't find a place to live. This vision board is stupid. But then I had kind of an epiphany. I was like, there's an ocean view on my vision board, and I'm not looking where there's an ocean. So, duh. So I went into meditation, and I really had to assess. So I realized I had a conflict, right? And my conflict was my friends, my support system, was up in LA, and I had the beach. I wanted to move the beach. So I went into meditation. I just asked myself, what if you had all obstacles removed? There are no conditions. Where would you live? The beach. Boom. Boom. And the next day, my apartment came available. So I drove down and I put a deposit on it. I didn't even look at the inside of the apartment because the tenants were still there. They wouldn't allow me in. But I stood up the stairs and I'm like trying to visualize it. I'm like, okay, I think this will work. And I just had that intuitive hit. And I'm like, nope, this is it. And right across the street's a beautiful trail with this massive ocean view. It's a 3-mile walk to the beach. I won't walk back from the beach because it's up a bluff, but that's okay. Again, I'm employing a Lyft driver to bring me back home. Awesome. Right. And I get to gratitude all the way down, say my gratitude all the way down to the beach. So it's all worked out really good. So awesome. See what happens when you get out of your way.
And when you go within and you ask those really important questions instead of asking everybody else, asking the peanut gallery, I've been calling them.
Yeah.
And you go within and you get really clear about what's in your heart, then it's like, boom, the next day it happens.
Oh yeah. Like this made no sense because it doubled my expenses, and I'm like, and I was, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm not materialistic, but I do like the safety and security of finances. So, all this time building the business, I'm like, freaking out. How do I, and then I had to step back and I'm like, I upgraded. I up leveled.
When you up level, you're supported by the universe. Same thing with my house. Every one of my houses I up leveled, and we had trouble paying our rent until we moved into this house. We've never had a problem because we up leveled when we moved in here, and we believed and we had faith, and we've been supported ever since.
Well, and that's the other thing. The universe wants us to up level. The universe is putting us in those positions. It offered you this opportunity to say yes to up leveling.
Yeah.
And when you hold yourself back and you're like, oh no, I don't think I can do it. I can't afford it. Well, then guess what? You're just going to be given proof that you can't afford it, that it's not, you don't have enough. And
right.
I mean, this has happened to me so many times, that you have to like allow yourself to receive that endless abundance that is always there for us, but we're the ones that are holding it back. Meanwhile, universe keeps offering, oh, well, do you want this?
It's right here.
When you say no, right. When you say no, then it's like, oh, okay, they want more of that. So it's really, look around in your life, and to people listening, look around in your life and see where you've been offered an opportunity to up level. And instead you're like, oh, it's too much, or like, I want to live by the ocean, but I don't even want to look at anything near the ocean because it's going to be too expensive. It's like, what?
Yeah, agreed.
It's that conflict. What did we call that? Different vibration,
split energy.
Split energy. It's like you want something, but you're not willing to take.
You're holding yourself apart from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if someone, just to start receiving, if you have a hard time doing that, I know I did, because the childhood I had, you see every picture, there was no love. The back is turned against me on all the pictures. Sorry for the ding. I thought I turned the notes off.
Didn't even hear it.
Oh, good. I did. I was like, whoa. Anyway, but start with simple things. Like when somebody gives you a compliment, just receive it. Just say thank you. That's a start. That's just a start, right? Because so many of us, look how many of us say, somebody says, oh, you look really pretty. Well, oh, thank you. But
just say thank you. Well, Cate, so I'm curious, is it because you lost your job? Is that what started your path to receiving, or what do you think? What was it?
Oh my gosh.
There's one thing that you can say that started you on this path of, because you're really in the flow. You are truly, even though you're the most negative person on earth.
No, really. I mean, but I do. I'm probably
self-proclaimed. That's not me
self-proclaimed.
labeling you that. Yeah.
No, it's true though. I really am great at beating myself up. So I've had to reprogram myself of not doing that.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you, I looked for 2 years for a job while I was building my business. That's not having faith. That's not living in the flow. That's going, oh crap, I don't want to go homeless, and in that negative spiral, right? So I finally broke out of that. And it was a matter of like, you want to build a support system for one thing, right? And, if somebody's not supporting you, there's plenty of others.
You got it next.
There are, what? Yeah, exactly. But I want to say probably it was a little bit before my move when I started connecting the dots, and the move actually really, I moved a year and a half ago or about a year and a half ago, but that really kind of woke me up like, whoa, like if people were to look at my situation, they'd be like, what? Why did you do that? What are you doing? Why? And it's worked out really nice so far. There's been some hiccups, but I made more money in my business this year than I have in the 5 years.
I think that is, so when people start saying, what are you doing? You're crazy. That's when you know you're on the right path.
Right. Yes.
Because when you're conforming and you're just going along with, oh yeah, everything's fine. And I'm going to stay in my little, my little shell and not break out and not let my light shine and not take a risk of up leveling. And, what's the worst if it happens? You're like, okay, I got to go find somewhere less expensive. But meanwhile, here you are making more money than you ever have in your business.
Yeah. And so in the meantime, like I have to walk through this multi-million-dollar neighborhood. So there's a house there that's for sale, and I keep looking at it and I'm like, thank you for my house in this beautiful neighborhood. I'm like tricking the neighborhood, right? So, some of the things that I did to try to just, when they say fake it till you make it, do it. I don't care, right? Fake it till you make it, because I didn't feel this. And even when I moved here, it's still, I think there was a cognitive, distances, because I'm like, I'm at the beach, it just didn't sink that I did this, right? I helped make this happen, and you call in your angels, you call in your guides, and you sit in silence and you listen to yourself. Yourself knows. I've let a lot of people go, in my life, including family members, because they are not good for my energy. They've taught me the lessons I've needed to learn, and I thank them, and I've sent them off in love, and I've moved on. And I think all of these little processes have helped me, get to the place I am today. I would, go into this depression sometimes, that's part of the trauma, and I don't sleep at night. It's part of the trauma. So I continue to heal. I always work on my healing. I think that's huge. I acknowledge when I'm upset, and I'll feel that feeling. I'll go, why am I so upset? And that's what people are afraid of. And that's where I was going before, and I got sidetracked. That's where I was going. This, I think, is so key, because we are humans in this shell, right? Our souls are in this shell, in this human experience. We feel anger, we feel jealousy, we feel envy, we feel love, we feel happiness, we feel joy, we feel it all, right? So let's acknowledge all of it. And that's one thing that I feel like some of the spiritual community does, is they don't acknowledge the dark side. And unfortunately, we all have a dark side. And the sooner we acknowledge it and just process that, the less impact it has on us, the less of a hold it has on us. And that's one thing I've learned through the healing process, is when we let go of things, it's like a release, it's just it's freeing. And that allows you to receive.
Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. I think I'm going to have to mention that in every live we do, but it's one of the best. And if you get it on audio and just listen to it, it's all about letting go and just because what happens when you don't express your energy, or you don't express your feelings, it's energy and it gets stuck in your body. And that's how dis-ease happens. That's how, you get, you've got anger problems. You've got, you're the most negative person on the world. I mean, it's, that's what happens when you don't let them out. And then when you let them out, it's just boom, it's like gone, and it's so freeing.
Well, you said something before that I thought was really interesting. You said, I went through a depression and then I knew that it was time to go to work. And I think we've got this thing in our society around depression where people are very much in resistance to depression, very much feeling like they should never feel depressed, or if they are depressed, they have a mental illness. So I would love for you to touch a little bit more on, depression, meaning we've got work to do. We've got healing to do. It's about going within and working in the scope of that depression, not fighting it, not telling ourselves we shouldn't be there, but understanding that we are these feeling beings. And that when we allow our emotions to process, we come out so much higher. We come out with, just this capacity for joy that's so much bigger. Can you just touch on that? I thought that was really
cool. Actually, and I'll expand on that if you don't mind. But I'm going to go into PTSD, especially a complex form of PTSD, because that's where my depression comes from. Is when trauma happens to people, it rewires the body. I read a book, I can never remember this doctor's name, but it's The Body Keeps Score. The body, it's more scientifically written. It's for therapists, but I read it because it helped me understand what my body was going through, why I get angry, why I go into a depression, why I go into a rage sometimes, and it's because I'm being triggered, from trauma. And, this is where you have to stop. You have to ground yourself, and you find yourself in these moments, and it's not a stigma. I wish we get rid of mental illness as a stigma. It's no different. See, this is the key. I love to use this analogy. This is what makes me so upset with the spiritual community sometimes, to be honest with you, is sometimes they're like, well, if you want to heal, you could just heal. You just get over it. Just get over your depression, get over your sadness. No, you can't. Your body is literally reacting to an event that happened. It's stuck. And until you remember it, process it, and acknowledge that happened to you, your body's going to hang on to it. It's another form of energy. Hear that? Another form of energy. It's no different than having a broken leg. You broke your leg. You need a cast to mend that leg. Same with depression, same with, post-traumatic stress disorder, it's, I think people use that term way too easily. It's not a fun thing to live with. And those people that have it know that they have to fight harder. People with depression have to fight harder to do this work. And I'm telling you, when I say fake it till you make it, you fake it. There are days I did not feel gratitude. I'm telling you, I did not feel it. But you know what? I said my gratitude anyway. I found one thing. You found it. Yes, that's it.
I'll put the link in the
cool.
Yes.
Vander Kolk is his last name.
Yes, thank you.
Vander Kolk, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes, and I'm actually still reading some of it, but even the breathing, this is a simple yoga concept, right? Breathing in, a deep breath, but that usually starts to arouse us, right? So when you exhale and you exhale for a longer breath, it brings us back into our body. And just that simple exercise is helpful, right? And it can bring us back into a place of, wow, I'm grateful. So that's something you could be grateful for. I'm grateful for grounding, right? I'm grateful that I'm back in my body. If you could find that one thing, that one nugget to be grateful, because that's a big manifester.
Gratitude to me is the engine of creating what you want, and when you don't have it, you're grateful for every step that takes you closer to having what you want. And it really is. I mean, I recommend first thing in the morning, you're grateful as you open your eyes, you know, what are you grateful for? Just list 5 things in your head, and at night, maybe, you know, write them down.
Yeah.
But if you
Actually,
have
right
a,
before
like,
you go to bed, you know, right
Yeah.
before you fall, your head hits that pillow. When your head hits the pillow, just say, wow, I'm grateful for 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, you know,
Mhm.
whatever.
There's always something to be grateful for. And I think when you're in that state, just reaching for something, you know, I went through a depression a little while ago, just for a couple of weeks. And I just kept reaching, you know, like just reaching for something. There was like things that I had to do. I had to meditate. I had to listen to positive things. I had to talk to Lisa. I had to exercise. Like those were the things that I did that kind of kept me in alignment with just coming out of it and just allowing myself to process through it.
And that's faking it till you make it, right? You
Yeah.
didn't feel like doing that in the beginning. No. And there's so many times I'm like, oh, you know, I even, and this is for those out there that like, oh, this is all crap. You know, this is all BS, you know, and I have been there. I go there still sometimes. You're like, you know, but then I have to take a step back and I look and I'm like, no, I've got an ocean view. You know, it's pretty hard to deny. You know, I have my own business, you know, I'm working my own business, you know, I get to, it's what time is it? It's like almost 2:00 in the afternoon. And I'm talking to you lovely ladies.
Yeah.
On Zoom, right? You know, and sharing some of my experiences instead of, you know, sitting in a boring meeting or, you know, project planning. Yeah, so we can get that system running, you know? It's just totally different light. And that to me is just, that's my gratitude. I'm like grateful for that. You have like a purple aura by you,
I
Goldyn.
know. I was just going to say, there's like this beautiful purple. It's
Aura. Yeah, it's like a, I don't know. Is that
a laser?
Yeah, right?
Purple energy coming in.
This is
That is awesome.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I love
Wow.
purple.
Well, this was amazing, Cate. Thank you so much for
No,
sharing your
so
wisdom.
much good information.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. I just, yeah, you know, when I saw that post, I was like, oh, so many people, like I've been there, I feel it. And I still go there. And I just thought, yeah, I mean, just, you know, this is amazing. Like,
share your story.
So what do you,
yeah,
I was just going to say, what is the one thing that you say to people right now that could help them to shift from feeling stuck into moving into their dreams? I mean, do people have to get fired in order to pursue their dreams, or?
No, I think, you know, it's funny. And I look back and it just suddenly hit me. You know, I moved to North Carolina for 2.5 years. And
I was in South Carolina for 2.5 years.
Yeah, I was like in the middle, a beautiful property, beautiful, you know, out in the middle of the country. But yeah, I was ready to go home. And I had heard it takes a year to sell a property, you know, or 2 years, you know, where I was at. And, you know, it was funny. It goes back to intention. I wanted to be back home. And I had made up my mind. And this is the thing. You can't just want. You have to know that this is what you want and this is where you're headed toward.
Yes.
You have to know that you're headed toward there, even if you don't feel like it. Because even when I was told by other people, no, it's going to take over a year, I sold that house in 2 weeks. And people were shocked in the middle of the country in North Carolina, you know, like 45 minutes from the closest place to work, you know, it sold in 2 weeks. People were shocked, you know, but I had made up my mind and I didn't know this is what I was applying at the time. But when I look back, so look back at your life, like look back at those moments. I look back at that moment when, wow, it took me 2 weeks to sell that house because I had that intention. I knew I needed to leave. I'm ready to go back home. And it's a shift that you feel inside. It's this knowing, just like the beach. Boom, it hit me, you know? So the best thing you could do, go inside, take that time. You know, if you have a hard time sitting still, go for that walk where it's peaceful, where you can really feel your energy and tap into yourself and really hear yourself and follow your intuition, follow your gut.
Awesome.
That's the key.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
that is-
ladies.
And that's just making a decision, right? It's deciding that no matter what anyone says to you or what anyone has experienced, that your experience is going to be specific to your own intention, your own drive, and your own energetic force. I love
Exactly.
I love it.
And no split energy. That's the other thing. No, like, well, I think I want to move, and because and that can be tricky. And
Yeah,
gotta be
absolutely.
super clear.
Decision. It's all about making a decision. I love
That's
it.
right.
Love
Yeah,
it.
and where the heart is from that decision too, right?
Yeah.
So like I could say, like, let's say, just as an example, oh, I want a TV show. I really don't, but let's say I want a TV show, right? But I want it for fame, like, look what I can do, right? Horrible intention, right?
Yeah.
Horrible intention. But if you want the TV show and like, no, I really want to help people and reach them, that's a different intention.
Totally.
So it's also from where your heart comes from as well. So you want to look where your heart's at.
Yeah.
So.
That's so awesome, because that just alleviates the ego and it puts you in the place of really being in your calling.
Yes, absolutely. It does. So yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us. This was great. And hopefully someday we will meet in person, being that we are so close.
I know. You should take that walk with me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sold. You sold.
Yeah. And we'll have to go out to Hawaii.
Yeah, come to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Retreat out here. So
without a doubt.
Well, I would love to join you for the Helping Parents Heal. Maybe I can partner with you on that. Yeah, that would be great.
We're always looking for speakers for our IANs and our Helping Parents Heal. So I'll be in touch about that.
Yeah.
Well,
go.
Thanks, Cate. We're going to say goodbye.
Thank you, ladies. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I hope I've given you some inspiration. You can do it. I don't care what your background is. You can manifest your dreams. Just do it. All right, ladies. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow, that was fantastic.
That was really cool. I don't know what's happening here.
I know. You definitely, now there's like a green line on the violet. So
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Am I washed out? I feel like you can't even see me.
Yeah, you're kind of like, oh, there we go. It must have been, the light must just be going right into the
sun.
lens.
Yeah, the sun came across.
There you go.
Well, that was fantastic. And I really hope that people got as much as I did out of that. I think that was a leading edge conversation, which is what, when we started the Real Ones, that was our intention, was to bring people on that have these incredible life stories and share because when other people share their stories like that, it just gives us confidence in the ability to manifest. And it doesn't matter, obviously, who you are, Cate being the most negative woman in the world, which I really don't know if I believe that, but if she's saying it, then she must have felt it. And she has done an amazing job of training her mind to become everything that she has wanted to become. And that is.
Yeah. And it's so true too. I mean, we were talking before we went on about victimhood, and how many of us are brought up to, feel like the victim, or that we are the victim. And I've learned so much from being here on Maui on my own, and just interacting with other people and realizing, wow, yeah, I'm coming from this victim thing. That's like, what? I didn't even recognize, again, a blind spot.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing until it's pointed out to you. And then you're like, oh my God, that's just not okay.
I know. It's funny. I had a conversation with a woman recently, and I could just, I was sharing what I know, and I could just tell that people put themselves apart from what they want to create. And even if you give them every possible reason why they can create it, they will come up with reasons why they cannot. And it's just like, I guess it's too far of a leap. So I loved what Cate was saying about, just start small, just start going within and asking what your heart wants, and just start with a little bit of gratitude. Like, we don't have to make these big leaps in faith that are going to scare the crap out of us and make us feel like we're going to be, homeless, unless that's, unless you want to create risk like that, because there's a huge amount of joy involved in that kind of risk. And that's another thing we love to support people in. But you can start small. Like, you don't have to quit your job. You can do both things that you love. You can figure out a way to make the transition a little easier, instead of just like jumping ship like we've done, exactly. Not for the weak.
And that's the other thing too, is if you're in a job you don't like, start focusing on what you do like about the job. Start being grateful for, the parts that you like, and that will expand. That's the other thing, is the more, whatever you focus on expands. So if you're not happy and you're always laser focused on everything that you're not happy about, well, the universe is just like, oh, they want more of that. I mean, that it's just, it really is like 1 + 1 = 2. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not rocket science to realize that what you think about and focus on, you bring more.
Exactly. And that's how jobs get so bad that you have no choice but to quit, or
Right.
you end up getting fired because you've created so much resistance around the job that your desire becomes so strong to be set free. And that's
Right.
when, you know, the big transitions come that feel really scary. I think, you know, there's a lot of expansion and growth in that, but not everybody wants to do it that way. So if you don't,
Yeah.
then there's an easier way.
Well, and that's what, so let's wrap back up on our 2020 webinar that we're going to be doing next Monday. And you need to sign up with the link that I will be posting. We will be posting in the group multiple times. So you need to add your email and if you, what you want to pre-pave or what you're looking to do in 2020, write it in the comments section, because we're going to do some live coaching. We'll bring you on Zoom. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. If you don't want to have your camera on, that's fine. You can turn it off. But if you want to be, it'd be kind of fun to have you interact here. But
absolutely. And it's free if you sign up. If you sign up, it's free.
Yeah.
If you don't sign up, it's probably not going to be free later on. So if you really want to, and plus you want to get started now so that we can pre-pave and step into 2020 like ready to go. So
exactly. And there will be a replay. We understand, you know, in the middle of the afternoon on Monday, some people work, you know,
hello.
some people go to jobs that can't be watching this, but there is a free replay if you sign up before the event. After the event, we're not sure. Again, we're just going with the flow here and seeing what's going to happen, but we're going to share some really amazing stuff. Even if you don't get picked to be in the hot seat, the leap seat, you will get a lot of value from it to learn how to start pre-paving and to learn how to start creating your 2020 right now.
Get out of the struggle. Apparently there's some struggle going on. Let's get out of the struggle and step into like what we were really born to do and what really brings us joy and can create massive abundance. Right. It's all available to all of us. We just got to tap into it, and we're all about it.
I love it. And one tip I just wanted to give with this holiday season upon us is, as I was getting ready to start this meeting right now, I just started thinking ahead of like all these things that are happening, because a lot is happening. And I know it's happening for you too, you know,
a lot of good
and it's a lot of amazing things. So in that moment, I started feeling a little panicky, a little, oh my God, overwhelmed. And then I'm like, wait a minute, where am I right now, right here? I'm getting ready to go live on this broadcast. So I just brought it right back in. So if you start getting overwhelmed about thinking of everything you need to do, of course, it's overwhelming. There's too much to do and to think about. And our brains like to, you know, make it even worse by, you know, monkey mind. And so just start making lists, start writing things down so you'll remember, but you don't need to be in that panic mode. And because December is always a hard time of year for me. My Chinese astrology says this is my low energy time of year, and both my kids' birthdays are this week, and of course it's Christmas. So I do struggle at this time of year to, you know, keep it all together. But oh dear, see. Microphone's falling over. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen. Wow, the whole show I made it through without that happening. I had a question for you. Oh, would you be willing to pull some cards about our 2020 webinar and just like preparing for the new year? Because I think that could be really interesting. I'm interested. I want to see what they have to say.
Okay, yeah. Let's see what the cards have to say about our upcoming webinar. Oh my gosh, how fun.
Yay.
Okay. So the first card, which is the blockage card, is courage.
Oh.
And, you know, what I'm getting about that is just like so many of us, like we have our dreams and our wants and our desires, but we're like afraid to really put it out there because, you know, it might not work. We might fail. It might not, you know, because that's our limited. We only know what we've done in the past. Our brains can't imagine it succeeding because it hasn't succeeded before. So that's why we don't go there, right? I mean, if we knew that we were unlimited and could do anything, we would just do it.
Yeah.
But we're stuck there. So what do you get about the courage block?
I just was thinking about something Kyle Cisoe says, and he says, we always look at what we might lose. We never look at what we might gain. So instead of like focusing on, oh, if I lose my job, then I'm going to lose my income. Instead of looking at all that, it's like, well, what could it mean? Like, I already know what's going to happen if I stay where I am. what could it mean if I step forward into something different? Because that's where all the magic is. That's where all the expansion and growth is. So
Yeah.
even
the
though, you know,
unknown.
Kate shared that her journey, I mean, my journey has not been an easy one, but man, has it been fun and cool and exciting and thrilling, you know? So we just got to go for it. I think this whole courage thing is really interesting because there's no guarantees in life.
Well, no, exactly.
Why do we think everything is so guaranteed? Why do we think if we, you know, stay where we are, we're going to be guaranteed? We have no guarantees. You were saying that the other day because your daughter's fiance's cousin died suddenly in an accident, super early, super young. And it's like, we have no idea what's going to happen, people. We might as well live on the edge so that we can experience as much as possible.
You look, which the action card, adventure.
Woo!
So, I mean, that just falls right in line. We're here for an adventure, people. If you're not having an adventure, then something is wrong. You are not living your life to your fullest expansion and to your highest and greatest purpose here on this earth. Yeah. So, and there's really no excuse other than, again, the lack of courage of just stepping forward and really following your heart. And again, I think our society has programmed us into just, you know, go get a job and basically, you know, go home, eat, sleep, get up and go to your job again and, you know, live for the weekend. And it's just like, no, like life, there is so much for you to be giving. And the world needs your talents and gifts.
Amen.
And then the outcome is you will find the truth.
Ooh, the truth. I love that. And the truth is that you are a powerful creator and you have the ability to create whatever is calling on your heart.
Awesome. So like I said, go sign up for the webinar. We will have multiple links in the group. And,
and we're super, super excited.
Absolutely.
Good things are coming, people. They're already here. It's time for us to like fully enjoy them and fully step into the truth of who we all are.
That's right. And remember, what you focus on expands.
Yeah. We love you guys.
We love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Aloha.